Hello YouTube, this is the Bucket coming at you today with an unboxing of the Bersa BP9cc. So I did a unboxing of a TPR 9C way back when the channel first started, and I just saw the gun and I thought it was kind of something different, kind of new. I'd seen those Bersa Thunder 380s and I really didn't think much of them. And I did that video. I was very impressed with it. I'll send a link in the description below on the TPR 9C and the range review. And, you know, as I look through my analytics on YouTube, I'm seeing a lot of people are really interested in that Bersa. And it kind of makes sense. It looks like a quality firearm. And so when I went into John's today here in the Kansas, I saw this pistol and I thought, man, let's just bring it to them. People want to know more about the Bersas, and let's see what this has to offer. So this is, once again, the BP9cc. When you purchase this firearm, you're going to get this blue clamshell case. You open it up. Now, obviously, it's going to have some flags in it. It's going to be in this bag, and you're going to notice that you have a striker-fired 3-dot white sight firearm. It's very thin. It comes with single stack magazines. I do have a snap cap already in there. You're gonna have two 8-round magazines. You're gonna see that this one is a black slide, black matte finish. It's a polymer firearm, rear slide serration, not front side serrations. Pretty neat little firearm. Now this came out around 2012. It came out to compete with guns like the Glock 43 and the Smith & Wesson Shield. And Bersa is an Argentinian company that wanted to compete in that market, and these are going to be a little bit less expensive than the Shields. And this was before the 365 came out and the stack and a halves and whatnot. Now, when they originally designed this, was only designed for 9mm, so the 40's dimensions are going to be a little bit different. When you open it up, like I said, you get two 8-round magazines. You pull up the little foamy foam here, and you're going to end up with a manual. And this manual is not quite as nice as the TPR 9C, the Thunders. It's not going to be in color. There's not going to be as many photos. Kind of, you know, a little bit less exciting than the last one. This I haven't messed with at all. This is going to be the gun lock, which that's going to have to go on the Wallow gun lock. So we're going to have to look at that here in a minute. And you put that back in here. Now this is better than like a cardboard box that you'd get with Smith & Wesson Shields, or, you know, some of the Rugers and whatnot. So you get that. That's kind of nice. Again, this is from the Argentina. And what do we feel when we're holding this firearm? So again, this is going to be a really thin firearm. To give you some comparison, so the overall height of this gun is going to be 6.35 inches. Now, if you were to compare that with the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus, theirs are 6.1, so this is going to be a little bit taller. As far as the width, it's going to be, the length is 6.35 compared to 6.1. The height is going to be 4.8 opposed to 4.6. Now that's with the magazine in it, is going to be like that. When you get to the width, this is going to be a little bit more narrow than a Smith & Wesson Plus. It's going to be a 0.94 opposed to the 1.1 on a Smith & Wesson Plus. This is going to be a little bit heavier, 21 ounces compared to 20 ounces. And then the barrel is going to be a little bit longer. It's going to be 3.3 inches opposed to the 3.1 on the Smith & Wesson Shield. So kind of, I think the selling point on this gun is it's going to feel like a full-size gun without having the downsides of you know, of it being harder to, you know, without the downsides of it being a double stack. So that's kind of the idea behind this. They also put a ginormous front sight on there. The UGD would probably kind of like that. He'd put some UGD loving up on there. As you feel it, it feels good in the hand. I don't feel like I'm over gripping it too much. I feel that it has a big wide trigger, so you can still get your finger on it. I know with some of the smaller micro compacts, you feel like you over grip. It's hard to get the pad right where you want it. I feel like I naturally get on it the way that I want to on this particular gun. It does, the mags do drop free. Although that time it didn't want to do it. Let's try it again. Let's get back in here, and they do drop free. It does take a little bit of getting used to on that particular job. I will tell you that this one, when I got it, is just bone dry out of the box, so we're going to have to take a look at that here in a minute. As far as the trigger goes, it does have a magazine disconnect safety in it. We can see that that is unloaded. I'm going to put a snap cap in there to show you that this does have a loaded chamber indicator. It is quite sharp here on the end. You can see that it's popped up and it's not there when it doesn't have it. I will tell you that the trigger, there is some take up, and then there's a lot of mush, and it's kind of hard to pick up on when you first do it. Now the snap cap will come right out. You can drop it without having to pull back on it, and if you practice it a little bit, you can find where that wall is. The reset's nice, and then again there's that mush, and then you can determine it, but there is not a very defined wall. But once you play with it for a little bit, you could definitely learn this trigger. Is it as good as a Smith & Wesson trigger out of the box? Probably not. Is it as good as a Glock 43 trigger? Probably about the same, but it is going to take a little bit of playing with to get used to that particular trigger. I like the reset. I like that there's some abrasive texturing up here, so you can really get a good purchase on that gun, have it feel exactly the way you want to. We're going to go ahead and do the O-Light test to see if this will take a regular non-proprietary. Oh, I'm going to get that down that way. We'll take it just all the way down that way. Put that on there. That will lock right on there. So this does pass the O-Light test. So that's nice. You gotta like that. Now, how it'll tell you to disassemble this particular pistol is you're gonna wanna dry fire the pistol, drop the magazine. You will see that there's a notch here and a notch in the slide. You're gonna wanna line those up. And once you get her lined up, you flip her over, and there's this little post here. Now, with my psoriasis, my fingernails do not want to operate things like that, so I have to use a little wooden dowel from one of my cleaning kits. Let's see. Let's try that again. All right. Put that down that way. There we go. That'll pop right out, and then this will come right off the end. You will see that this just does have the simple 4-rail system. It's kind of a classic affair. Now, just so you guys don't have to deal with me flopping that light on over and over and over again, I'll just go ahead and take that off right now. When you get this gun disassembled, you will see that this is a double captive recoil spring, which is a nice little add. You're going to see that you're going to have an all-steel barrel. And again, the one that I got was all dried out. The machine works pretty nice on it. Looks like that's well produced, like all Bersas I've ever had in the past. Now I'm going to take a little bit of oil. I like these needle type. This is an oil that I got during the pandemic, which was kind of no fun whatsoever. Couldn't find my rim well, but I do like this needle. It allows me to put just a touch. I'll go ahead and I will put a dot right there. I'll put a dot right there. Put that on there. Put a dot down in here. Get that This magazine release is not operating as smooth as I would like. Then I go ahead and I put my barrel back in. Gotta get that barrel in there. And I'll put my recoil spring back in. The barrel wants to jump forward. That's nice and fun. I like to put, if I know I'm dealing with a slightly under lubricated gun. Now I only put about the last third in, and as I go through I will find that it will push all the oil I need going forward. Now that's just the way the bucket does it, and I have not had any bad luck, but you can just hear it, how dry that is. And then to reassemble it, let's put a dot right here and a dot right here. You just line those lines back up. This is kind of how I hold it. And then it's just kind of wiggle to fit. And you'll see it start to go in. I do like the fact that it is tactile when you get her in. And it is, it'll make some sound to it too. And then I just kind of run that oil down in it. And yeah, that feels a lot better. It'll just feel smoother. I'll end up putting a dot on the slide and just kind of rubbing some of that in there. We'll see if this ended up. Yeah, see, it just needed a little bit of oil in it. Bersa sends them a little dry. You are going to end up with that classic problem when you have reversible mag releases. When you have your hand here, you're actually going to end up kicking one on the floor. Your middle finger will end up kind of holding it in place there. So I'm excited to get this out to the range. I know a lot of you guys have been interested in my Bersa videos, so we'll go ahead and check that out. The likes are always appreciated. The comments are great. If you like what you saw here, share it with a friend. And remember, you stay classy, YouTube.
I learned a lesson. Never half-ass two things. Whole-ass one thing.